Chapter 9. Unlikely Heroes. Having run quite a considerable distance and now totally exhausted, they flopped down amongst the buttercups and gasped noisily for air. "I need a drink," gasped Jonathan. "Did anyone think to take any of the watch-alike tree?" The others shook their heads miserably. They too were in dire need of water. Gathering up his strength and taking a deep breath, Peck flew to the tops of the trees and looked out towards Nightmare Mountain.
"Yes, look! There's a river up ahead! You just have to get to the top of this little hill and then you'll be able to see it!"
Peck's cheerful voice trailed off to a whisper as he turned to see what was coming up fast behind them.
"Quick! Up on your feet! The flurry balls are following our trail!"
Without another word, Jonathan, Princess Maria, and Ossian sprung to their feet and ran like the wind towards the hill. The flurry balls, however, were much faster, and soon their chattering filled the air. Puffing and panting, the companions pushed and pulled each other up the hill. Their tired feet stumbled and fell as small avalanches of stones loosened their footholds and brought them crashing down to their knees. Peck flew valiantly. Like a spitfire, he dive-bombed the flurry balls, challenging them to dogfights in the air. But there were too many, and before long they in turn were swooping and diving at the three, who were now hanging on to the rocks for dear life. Taking well-aimed kicks, they managed to score perfect hits as a few of the flurry balls ventured too close for comfort. But their efforts were in vain. Outnumbered but refusing to give in, Jonathan grabbed Princess Marina's arm and hauled her up over the boulders towards the summit of the hill. The flurry balls swooped nearer and nearer, their tiny teeth snatching small bites at exposed skin. Ossian swatted the fiendish furballs with his serpent tail and wished fervently that he was his true size again. He'd soon make mincemeat of this lot. Even his great jets of flame were no more than flickers, not even enough to singe the hair on their tormentors. Reaching the top of the hill, Jonathan saw the promised river. It was no more strange than the rest of this weird world that they had stepped into, so it came as no real surprise to find that the river was slow-moving and deep pink in colour. "Nearly there!" he shouted, trying to rally the troops. "It's not far to the river now." Although quite what good getting to the river would do them had not entered Jonathan's mind. Like the true gallant warrior that he was, Peck tried his best to protect the damsel in distress. Princess Marina could hardly be seen beneath a blanket of flurry balls as they outmanoeuvred her flailing arms and legs and bit at her flesh till she screamed. Charging like a miniature dinosaur, Ossian head-butted the creatures, but they merely rolled over and over in mid-air, unharmed, and returned to attack. Breaking off a branch from a nearby rowan tree, Jonathan wheeled it above his head like King Arthur with his trusty Excalibur and tore into battle. All four were heroes doomed to die. And die they surely would have, if it weren't for another smell that drifted towards them on the summer breeze. It was a sweet, perfumey smell this time, a far cry from the nauseating stench of the cowpats. The smell was so thick now that you could almost taste it. The flurry balls stopped their attack and hovered in mid-air as they savoured the aroma. Like wine connoisseurs, they closed their eyes and with nostrils flared, they breathed in a huge draught of the delicious scent.
"Yum, yum,"
said one.
"Yum, yum, yum,"
said another.
"Bubblegum,
Identified another.
bubblegum."
Went up the ecstatic cry, and instantly the battle was forgotten. The flurry balls swarmed together, flying towards the pink river. "Bubblegum," mouthed the four silently to each other, not daring to speak lest they draw attention to themselves. Stunned, they watched from the top of the hill as the cavernous mouths plunged into the sticky river. Swimming dementedly, as though on a summer outing, they swallowed copious amounts of the pink gum. Too busy eating, they did not notice bubbles forming, and a vast pink head rising slowly from the surface of the river. There was no real shape other than an oozing mound of bubble gum, but slowly angry eyes could be seen glowering behind dripping goo. The river started to seethe and boil, causing waves to crash down on the flurry balls, whose hair was now so full of gum that, try as they might, they could not escape from the river's clutches. The flurry balls' constant chattering was now a shriek for help as they were sucked beneath the waves until none remained. Once again, the surface of the bubblegum river was smooth and sluggish, moving slowly on its way as if nothing had happened. "Wow!" exclaimed the onlookers.
That could have been us!
Peck gulped in relief.
I'm glad we didn't get to the river first.
"I'm even more thirsty now," Jonathan said meekly, "and I think we should do something about these cuts and bites." Supporting each other the best they could, they hobbled downhill to the edge of the river, just in time to see small bubbles rising to the surface. Then bigger bubbles, then bigger. Then an almighty burp rose from the riverbed and echoed through Nightmare Mountain. Pushing through the surface rose bubbles the size of balloons, and inside each one was trapped a very sticky flurry ball. Rising even higher, they floated back to where they had come from. From the side of her eye, Princess Marina thought she saw a strange green bird launching itself from a nearby tree. She was right, and if she had listened harder, she would have heard it chortle with laughter as it followed the bubbles back to Witch Brimstone, who was at that very moment dancing with fury as she watched all that had happened in the valley below.